Welcome to the Late Parsha Show.
Yeah, but don't say it in a question, say it in a statement.
Welcome to the Late Parsha Show, quotation mark.
Just because your line has an exclamation mark doesn't mean you pronounce exclamation mark. Just say, welcome to the Late Parsha Show.
Welcome to the Late Parsha Show. That's how you said it, literally.
Okay, my bad, my mistake. I'm starting to film this much later than I usually start to film these videos, and therefore, because it's so late, I'm not going to have so much time to edit this video, and therefore, as you'll see, it's going to be very mild, that it's just going to be cutting kind of between this scene and then different funny stuff.
It's just a fire on the left, a little fire, a little bonfire. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Smell that? Smell of burning wood. Gotta get the camera out of my face!
It is completely my fault that I'm starting so late, and on the note of me, I guess, making this mistake, I want to talk about mistakes. I want to mention two things in this week's Parsha that actually are beautiful and are relevant to this idea. Now, to preface, every single mitzvah that Hashem gives us and asks us to do, tells us to do, commands us to do, Hashem does himself. One of the commands that we see this week is that if someone is in need of a loan, we are commanded to lend them, to give them a loan. And obviously God lends as well. And let's cut straight to the chase, to the point. Everything we have is being lent. Loaned is the word, right? No, you're wrong. Loaned to us by our Creator. Everything you have in life is being loaned to you by God so that through what He is giving you, you can repay the loan. Simply, you can give back and you can serve God's people and serve God. And I just want to say that sometimes people find it difficult to find within themselves any special talent or ability, which is very sad and terribly untrue. You are given unique abilities. The thing is, when I say unique, and when we think unique, we think that means I have to have something that nobody else has. That isn't true, because whatever we are capable of, even if many other people are capable of it as well, is especially unique when it's coming from you. You are unique. So you don't have to find something within yourself that's unique, because you are unique and you matter. All right, so that's number one. Number two, towards the end of this week's Torah portion, Hashem says that you shall serve Hashem and I'll remove illness from you. Now, Chassidus explains that when it comes to spiritual illness, there are two sources for spiritual illness. One of them is sinning, right? When we sin, we can become spiritually ill, meaning that our soul isn't functioning in its perfectly healthy manner, where it's telling us, to pound the pavement. And is that the right term? I don't know. But it's where it's telling us to work and to do the right thing. The soul becomes desensitized by sin. And the second source of spiritual illness is where we indulge in what's permitted, right? We're not sinning. We're doing things that are permitted, but we're just totally gratifying ourselves with physicality and materiality. And that can desensitize the soul as well, where we just feel like, there's so much stuff that I'm allowed to do. So we kind of get busy with that instead of busy with what we're really here for, which is to serve God and serve others, meaning help other people physically, spiritually, and love your fellow creatures. And the takeaway here is pretty clear that even though we're not always doing the right thing, despite the fact that we're not always doing what we should be, and not always that we're not always doing what we should be, that we're not always moving and doing all we can and maximizing our potential and giving back what God gives us to God, but that sometimes we actually go totally against what we're here for by actually sinning. Despite these things, we should go ahead and keep moving in our commitment to God and say, you know what, I made mistakes. It's not bogging me down. We keep going full force. And then God will remove the effects of those mistakes and we won't become spiritually ill. And of course, simply, God removes all physical illness from us. And one person that comes to mind right away when talking about serving God despite hardship, obviously I'm not talking about spiritual mistakes and the spiritual illness, I'm talking about physical illness here, is Rabbi Yitzi Horowitz. And he he's just a total inspiration. I mean, anybody that knows of him or knows him, that's, God should heal him and all other of those who are ill in any way, shape, or form speedily and completely. They should have their cure, and we should all have our cure to spiritual and physical illness with Mashiach. May he be revealed immediately now.